probably shouldn't talk about sizes.
No, that's okay.
You big on the radio.
And you're big
Turn
in
it down.
prison.
I've never been to prison.
Like,
Man, what you got against Wanda Sykes? You think I don't remember that?
sir, Wanda Sykes and Wanda Smith are two separate people.
What if I told you someone pulled a gun on Katt Williams, on camera, and nobody cared? Not only that, but the world just tried to cancel him again, and this time, it's over a joke he made years ago to someone who's now passed away. But here's the twist. The whole thing might have been a setup. This is the real story behind Katt Williams, Wanda Smith, the viral roast that ended careers, the weapon pulled in the parking lot, and why Dave Chappelle just stepped in to say, enough is enough. If you've been on social media lately, you've probably seen this clip making the rounds again. The one where Katt Williams absolutely roasts radio host Wanda Smith live on air. The broccoli joke, the hair comment, the calm, surgical destruction that made everyone laugh and made Wanda furious. But now, that same clip is being used to call Katt everything from toxic to a POS. One user wrote, Katt Williams is a POS for what he did to Wanda Smith. F him. Another said, y'all laughed then, now she's gone, and suddenly you're fake woke? I hope Wanda haunts you. And all of this started resurfacing shortly after Katt did something unexpected. He apologized. Not to Wanda, but to Michael Jackson's family. That's right. Katt Williams recently said he regrets the jokes he used to tell about MJ. In hindsight, he claims he was being used by the same people who let black men get famous just to tear each other down. And just like that, the internet flipped. If you're sorry about MJ, they said, why aren't you sorry about Wanda? Here's where it gets wild. Because just as the internet started canceling Katt all over again, Dave Chappelle came out swinging in his defense. And let's be real. If anyone knows what it's like to be hunted by the cancel crowd, it's Dave. He's been called every name in the book for his trans jokes, his Netflix specials, even his refusal to apologize when critics demanded it. But through all that noise, Dave has stood on one thing. Comedy has to be the place where we say the unspeakable. Not to offend, but to reflect, provoke, and sometimes hit a nerve. So when Katt Williams started trending again for a joke he made back in 2018, Chappelle wasn't having it. He said what Katt did to Wanda wasn't hate, it wasn't bullying, it was comedy. A response to being publicly baited by someone who, according to Katt, promised to keep it light, but switched the tone the moment the mic turned on. Chappelle called it a necessary art form, and he quoted the late Robin Williams saying, comedy is the only job where you can use everything, your trauma, your failures, your regrets, your deepest fears. It all becomes material. Because for comedians, the stage is therapy. So imagine being Katt Williams, constantly ridiculed for your legal battles, your appearance, your finances, then finally snapping back and getting blamed for doing your job too well. But this wasn't just about jokes, because what started as a roast on live radio turned into something way darker, a roast that went viral, a parking lot confrontation, firearm, and a career that never recovered. And yet, Katt's the villain? Let's talk about what really went down next. It was supposed to be a routine promo stop. September 2018, Katt Williams joins V103's Frank and Wanda in the Morning with his friend Red Grant. Red's headlining shows in Atlanta, Katt's tagging along to support and maybe crack a few jokes. Nothing out of the ordinary. But what happened next became one of the most uncomfortable, viral, and career-altering interviews in modern radio. It started light. Wanda asked Katt about his kids. He smiled, gave a respectful answer. She asked if he cooked for them. Still cool. Then she threw a playful jab about his cooking skills, and that's where it flipped. Katt didn't just clap back, he snapped back. But not in a loud or aggressive way. It was quiet, calculated, surgical. She mentioned broccoli. He mocked the idea that boiling water was a flex. She bragged about her baked chicken. He made it sound like cafeteria food. Every time she tried to regain control of the mic, Katt flipped. The spotlight right back on her. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. Calm, smiling, almost like he wasn't even mad. Which honestly made it hit even harder, and you could feel the energy shift in the room. The other hosts started chuckling nervously. Red Grant sat back wide-eyed. Wanda tried to laugh through it, but you could see the tension creeping up her neck. This wasn't a roast anymore. It was a one-man masterclass in verbal warfare. What made it so brutal wasn't just that Katt was winning. It was that Wanda couldn't win. Every comeback she tried fell flat. And the more she pushed, the more he exposed her line by line. For a second, it felt like comedy. But then it felt like punishment. And the worst part? The cameras were rolling the entire time. He said real black women in comedy, like Luenell, Miss Laura, and Melanie Camacho, had been grinding for years with no Netflix deals, no magazine covers, and definitely no Hollywood favoritism. But Tiffany? According to Katt, she was handed the keys. He didn't say she wasn't funny. He didn't say she didn't work hard. What he did say is that she was the kind of non-threatening black woman Hollywood executives felt comfortable putting in front of white audiences, and that made her the perfect choice to push forward, even if more seasoned comedians were left behind. Katt even broke it down. Tiffany spent 14 years doing comedy while married to a white man. She got divorced, claimed he abused her, then walked that back in a book. Suddenly she's joking about dating Brad Pitt. Then came the Netflix specials, the big movie roles, the talk shows, the celebrity endorsements, and for Katt, it was all too convenient. He saw it as another example of how the entertainment industry sidelines dark-skinned, outspoken, original black women, and instead pushes someone who fits a marketable mold. And whether you agree with him or not, he wasn't wrong about one thing. Most people still can't name a single Tiffany Haddish joke. It's harsh, it's uncomfortable. But that's what Katt does. He says the things out loud that others are too afraid to say. And while he wasn't attacking Tiffany as a person, he was absolutely calling out the system that he believes uses certain black entertainers as tokens, and punishes others for being too real. But the moment he said all that, Wanda jumped in to shut it down. She said Tiffany was real, genuine, deserved her success, and from there, everything unraveled. The crowd laughed at Katt's comebacks, but Wanda wasn't laughing anymore. You could see it in her body language. Arms crossed, voice getting sharper, jokes turning personal. She tried to hit below the belt, bringing up Katt's legal issues and taking jabs at his appearance. She even went after his hair, saying it looked like a perm. Katt didn't flinch. He calmly replied, "My hair is 19 inches long, no perm. Come run your fingers through it." "Oh wait, that's right. You can't." The room exploded. And that's when Wanda decided to go nuclear. She hit him with the, whatever, Lil Mama line, an insult wrapped in a joke, implying Katt was soft, feminine, or worse, gay. That might have landed differently in another city. But in Atlanta, that was career suicide. Because in a place where the black LGBTQ+ community has been the backbone of culture, nightlife, and radio for decades, making queerness a punchline doesn't just get you side-eyed, it gets you canceled. It didn't matter that it came out during a roast. It didn't matter that it was supposed to be funny. What mattered is how it sounded. And in that moment, Wanda wasn't clapping back. She was lashing out. And she crossed a line. Katt didn't have to say much. He just let the moment sit. There. The crowd went quiet for a beat. Even the other hosts didn't know where to go from that, because suddenly, it wasn't about jokes anymore. It was about identity. It was about respect. And most of all, it was about who crossed the line first. That one comment, Lil Mama, might have sealed her fate more than any joke Katt told, and Atlanta didn't forget. What happened next wasn't just drama, it was dangerous. Just hours before Katt was set to perform at the Atlanta Comedy Theater, the tension from that viral roast exploded into real life. Wanda Smith was hosting the show. Katt showed up to do what he always does, make people laugh. But instead of laughs, he got threats. Surveillance footage from outside the venue captured what looked like a confrontation brewing. Katt's posture stiff, Wanda pacing. And then, her husband, Lamorris Morris, appears. Seconds later, chaos. Katt darts across the parking lot. Lamorris is chasing him, not yelling, not trying to talk, just running after him. Aggressively. And then, something shiny hits the ground. That something was allegedly a gun. When the police got involved, Lamorris admitted he chased Katt, but claimed the weapon fell out while he was running, and that he never meant to use it. He insisted it wasn't even about Katt. It was about protecting his wife. But then TMZ dropped the bombshell. Grainy but clear security footage showing Lamorris holding what looked unmistakably like a firearm. And yet, the media barely covered it. No headlines, no outrage, no interviews with Katt asking how he felt having a gun pointed at him outside his workplace. Can you imagine if the roles were reversed? What if it was Katt chasing down Wanda's husband with a weapon? The outrage would have been immediate. There'd be police press conferences, protests, a full-blown media storm. But this was swept under the rug, and Katt noticed. "I'm losing my life for participating in something that goes along with my job," he later said. Had it been anyone else, the world would have gone crazy. Instead, they acted like it never happened, like he was the problem. Fast forward just a few months after the roast heard round Atlanta. Wanda Smith was suddenly let go from her longtime role at V103. No official statement, no warning, just gone. Now, the station never gave a public reason, but everyone already had their theories. Some blamed the on-air meltdown. Others pointed to the gun incident. But what really stood out were the comments Wanda made during the interview, especially the Lil Mama jab, which many felt was her using gay identity as an insult. And in Atlanta, that doesn't fly. See, Atlanta has one of the largest Blacks, LGBTQ+ communities in the country, and using queerness as a punchline, especially coming from someone in mainstream media, can quickly turn your own audience against you. So while Katt was being roasted online for going too far, Wanda quietly got removed from the mic, and just like that, the woman who'd spent decades building her radio career disappeared from the spotlight. But Katt, he stayed quiet. Until recently. In January 2024, years after the roast, Katt Williams finally broke his silence about what really happened that day. He sat down with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay and laid everything out. According to Katt, the roast didn't start on air. It started before the interview even began. He said Wanda had promised not to bring up his personal life. No questions about jail, no questions about his kids. She even said, "We just want to celebrate your Emmy win, show love to Atlanta, and keep it clean." But the moment the mics went live, she flipped, brought up his kids, his charges, even his hair. And that's when Katt decided he wasn't playing nice anymore. "You can't flip up on me because you're an inferior comedian," Katt said. "I'm going to destroy you, and I'm never going to call you out your name." He claimed it wasn't even about comedy. It was about Wanda trying to embarrass him in front of her gay fan base, which, in his words, is why she got canceled. Gay people don't play that. They don't want you using them as an insult. Katt wasn't just defending himself. He was reframing the entire incident, saying the industry wanted him to lose, that they were waiting for him to go too far so they could finally push him out. And maybe he was right. Because after all, that when Wanda tragically passed away, the cancel train came right back around. Wanda Smith passed away on October 11th, 2024, just one day after her 58th birthday. Tributes poured in from Atlanta fans and local celebrities. Many remembered her humor, her charisma, and her decades on the radio, but some took it further. They started blaming Katt Williams for her downfall, for ruining her image, for breaking her on air, even for staying silent after her death. Because, here's the thing, Katt said nothing publicly. No tweets, no condolences, no statement. And social media ate him alive for it. But a lot of people also pointed out something very real. If Katt had said anything, people would have just called him fake, accused him of backpedaling, of apologizing only because she had passed. Some fans even said, "Let the man grieve in peace." You don't know if he reached out to her family privately. Others weren't so kind. "He's always been toxic," one tweet read. "He took her down and now he's hiding behind Chappelle's cosign." But let's not forget, this was the same man who almost got shot over a joke. This isn't just about cancel culture. It's about how quick we are to rewrite history, and how easily we ignore the parts that don't fit the narrative. So let's get this straight. Two comedians went back and forth on air. One got fired, the other nearly got shot. And years later, when one of them dies, the other gets blamed again, by people who weren't even in the room. Now Katt's silence is being called disrespectful. But what if it's just survival? Maybe Dave Chappelle was right all along. Maybe comedy is the last place you can speak your truth, and even that's under attack now, because when a roast becomes a crime scene, and fans forget who pulled the weapon and who walked away alive. You gotta ask yourself, are we really trying to hold people accountable, or just looking for someone new to destroy? Let me know what you think in the comments. Should Katt Williams have spoken up after Wanda's passing? Or are people reaching way too far to cancel him again? Either way, it looks like this story is far from over.